Hi everyone, very good morning and welcome back to Grade B. So today we are right now doing the 50 important MCQs of costing, and before I start today's lecture I would like to tell you one more thing, that please do not see these MCQ classes just for the sake of MCQs only, right? Whenever I am discussing any MCQ, I am trying that whatever concepts are written in that particular MCQ, I should be able to cover all of them. So you can consider them as a conceptual classes in form of MCQs. Okay. So just do not consider that I'll be discussing a marathon like MCQs and I'll just be going forward. If you are a beginner or you have already studied costing, in both ways it will be very helpful for you. That is my initiative. Now let's just see question number 11 that we have. Up to question number 10 we have already discussed yesterday, and now we have to move forward and discuss another questions. Fine. So the question number 11 says a large margin of safety indicates overcapitalization, soundness of business, overproduction, underproduction, none of the above. What do you think is the correct answer? Anyone who would like to answer this particular question? A large margin of safety indicates what? So in this particular context, first we should know the concept of break-even point, right? If we know the concept of break-even point, then we can reach to the margin of safety. Now what is break-even point? Yesterday also we have discussed. Break-even point means a situation of no profit, no loss. No profit, no loss situation arises when? It arises when you are having your cost equivalent to your revenues. Whatever you are earning, that is going into your cost, be it variable cost or fixed cost, right? So this is the situation of break-even point. Now, whatever you are earning over and above your break-even point, that is called as the margin of safety. What did I say? Whatever revenue means sales, that you earn over and above your break even point, this is called as the margin of safety. It means what? Suppose I am doing the sales, my sales is 10 lakh rupees. My sales figure is 10 lakh rupees. Someone says to me that your break even point, or I have calculated my break even point. My break even point is 4 lakh rupees. That means whenever I am going to achieve a sales of 4 lakh rupees, at that particular point of time, there will be no profit and no loss for me, like zero situation. All my costs will be equal to the revenue that I am earning. Fine. So if this is my break even point, then whatever I am earning over and above it, this is my margin of safety. That means the difference between both of these 6 lakh is my margin of safety. So having a large margin of safety indicates that your business is a sound business. Your business has some potential. Fine. So this was the answer. Now let's look at the other options as well. In other options, overcapitalization. What is the meaning of overcapitalization? So overcapitalization means, suppose I have a sales of 10 lakh rupees, fine, but in order that sales of 10 lakh rupees can be achieved in a capital of 5 lakh rupees, but still I have employed 50 lakh rupees as capital. That is not required. That capital will be just, it will be just lying in form of cash. There will be no other use of that particular capital because you do not have the capacity to sell. Fine. Now next is overproduction, underproduction. No, that margin of safety is indicative of how much higher sales you have than your break even point. Fine. So that is why the option number B, soundness of business, is correct. With that particular question, we have also completed the concept of margin of safety. Now next is, in a factory, standard rate per hour is 4 rupees. Okay. Standard time per unit of output is 20 hours. That means if you want to produce 1 unit of output, for that you need 20 hours. Total number of units produced by you is 500 units. Fine. Actual hours worked is 12,000. You have to compute labor efficiency variance, right? Labor efficiency variance, such kind of standard costing related topics, you always have to remember that what is your formula. Like, so in labor efficiency variance, let's just see the formula. Under labor efficiency variance, we want to compare the hours. For how many hours you have worked. So, for this, I need standard hours less actual hours. And when I want to convert this into rupees, I would like to know that what is the impact in rupees of these particular hours. So, this is the formula. Fine. Now, standard hours are what? 500 units are produced and 20 hours are needed to produce them. So 20 multiplied by 500, correct? Less how many hours you have actually worked? 12,000 hours multiplied by your standard rate is 4 rupees. Very easy. In this particular case, 10,000 hours is the standard hour. 12,000 hours you have actually worked. Fine. So this means this figure will be in minus. This is called as adverse. When your answer is coming into the minus, this is called as adverse. This variance is not favorable to us. Fine. Now I will explain this variance to you, just a second. See, under this labor efficiency variance, as a company, what would have been good for me? If labor would have worked for the standard hours, fine. I have decided that 10,000 hours are sufficient to produce a production of 500 units, fine. But labor has taken 12,000 hours. Now this is loss to me because I have to pay more wages. I have to pay more wages. So what is the loss that has incurred to me? 8,000 rupees. This loss is for me as a company. So let's see the answer. 8,000 adverse. So with relation to standard costing, this is my in whatever you can understand, this is my tip for you guys. Please remember the formulas. These are very easy. Specifically, if you remember the material related formulas, it will be very easy for you to understand the labor related formulas, because these are quite similar. There is no much difference. So it's just one time effort that you guys have to put. Now next question that we have. Yes. Which among the below is the reason behind material price variance? What is the reason behind material price variance? You have got the option: change in purchase price of material, uneconomical size of purchase order, payment of excess or less freight, fine, inefficient labor practices, and all of the above. See, check it out, all the situations. If your purchase price changes, yes, it is going to affect the material price. If uneconomical size of purchase order, uneconomical size of purchase order means, see, if you are purchasing 1000 units, then the trader is going to charge different rate, and if you are purchasing 100 units, then the trader is going to charge a different rate. Fine. So because of this particular reason, yes, it is also going to impact the price. Next is payment of excess or less freight. Excess or less freight, please understand this. Whenever we purchase a material or raw material, it is inclusive of everything. So when I say the price of raw material, it is inclusive of basic price. It includes any kind of quantity discount that you might be getting by purchasing a bulk quantity. Apart from that, it also includes your freight, right? Freight, etc. They are also included over here. And inefficient labor practices, because when we calculate the price variance formula, we also take the labor hours. We also consider it. So that is why price, labor hours, everything is going to impact your material price variance. Hence, all of the above is the answer. See over here, whenever you are saying any formula, please consider everything that comes in it. So when I am saying material price variance, I am talking about price. I am also talking about the hours that labor has put into. फाइन बोथ द थिंग्स आई एम टॉकिंग बिकॉज फॉर्मूला में तो दोनों चीजें आती है ना मटेरियल प्राइस वेरिएंस के. मुझे सिर्फ ये थोड़ी कहा गया है कि मटेरियल प्राइस में किस किस वजह से चेंज आ सकता है. अगर आप सिर्फ मटेरियल प्राइस कहते तब मैं ऑप्शन नंबर डी को consider nahi karti. If someone has said to me that please what are the reasons behind changes in material price only, then only above 3 will be relevant for me. But because they are asking me material price variance, so always see what all comes in the formula. Hours also come in the formula, price also comes in the formula. So both the impacts has to be considered. Clear for it? Now next question. See, budget related many conceptual questions can be formed, so be attentive for them. Next question is, when budget allowances are set without the involvement of budget owner, the budgeting process can be described as top-down budgeting, negotiated budgeting, zero-based budgeting, participative budgeting, or flexible budgeting. Which one is the right answer? Question number 14. Now, this is a conceptual question, right? This just wants to check your concepts. You cannot find such question directly in any other book, or you can, if any other place, you cannot find such questions because they are not directly related to the calculation but with the concept. Others are not giving me the answer. See, try to give answers whether it's right or wrong. Nothing matters, right? See over here, the correct answer is top-down budgeting. Why top-down budgeting? I'll tell you why. What the question says, please see very clearly. When the budget allowances are set without the involvement of budget owner, the kind of budgeting it is called as. Now, how and why it is top-down budgeting, I'll tell you. So, this is an organizational structure. Fine. Okay. This person is the production manager. This person here, he is the production manager. So, obviously, when I am making production budget, I should have included him. Correct? I should have included him. So, negotiated budgeting, zero-based budgeting, participative budgeting, flexible budgeting, in all such concepts, there are possibilities that this person's point of view would have also been considered. But in the top-down budgeting, what happens is, The top ladder of your organization, the top management, they decide the budget. They decide the budget and they just pass on the budget to you. None of the above तो ऑप्शन भी नहीं है नालायक. ठीक है, चलो देखो यहाँ पे, मतलब ये कि आंसर देने के लिए बोला तो कुछ भी, और नन ऑफ द अबव ऑप्शन नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी हम वही देंगे. So this is called as the top-down budgeting. In all other cases, the person who is the owner of budget, he is included, but under top-down budgeting, there are chances that just top management decides what will be the budget and it is just passed on to the other people. Not every time. See, in small organization, top management can be the owner. Fine. क्योंकि small organization में इतने लोग होते ही नहीं है, ठीक है, तो इतना hierarchy भी कैसे बनाएंगे. But in bigger organizations like your listed companies, etc., this is not always the case that the owner is the top management. Fine. So in the top organizations or listed company, you will see that owners are shareholders, and then we have a body called as board of directors. Even in board of directors, below them we have someone called as CEO, COO, right? So they are called, they will be also responsible, that it is possible that CEO has made the budget for you, correct? Even above the CEO we have directors, and even above them we have shareholders. चांस नहीं है, आपको 5 ऑप्शन दिए गए हैं. सी, in every other option, negotiated budgeting, zero based budgeting, participative, flexible budgeting, the inputs of production manager are always included. Fine, what he thinks that correct, but question only asks you which kind of budget is there where budget owner is not involved. So that kind of budget is just top down budgeting. Don't you experience sometimes that sometimes top management says that we want the production of 10,000 units and inputs of production manager is not taken up? They are just instructed to do as whatever has been said by top management. This happens, right? Next question, see over here. In comparing a fixed budget with a flexible budget, what is the reason for the difference between the profit figures in the two budget? So this is where we are asking that fixed budget को अगर आप flexible budget से compare करें तो दोनों में क्या chances होते हैं differences के? Why profit differs between both of them? Option number 1 is different levels of activity. Option number 2 is different levels of spending. Option number 3 is different levels of efficiency. And option number 4, difference between actual and budgeted performance. And fifth, difference between skills of labor. Tell me what is the correct answer. This is not the correct answer, okay? What is the correct answer? So the first option was, I'll write the first option here itself. Different level of activity. What is the correct answer? Question number 15. I would like you to give me the answer. Find A, B, C, D, E. Which one is the correct one? Fine. Others are not giving any answers. We are just here for the watching. So first understand the difference between the flexible as well as the fixed budgeting. What is the difference? There is no such difference. The only difference is, I'll tell you how. Suppose I have to make the budget for my organization, and if I have only made the budget for 10,000 units of production, 10,000 units means This is my 50% capacity. If I have only made a single budget for 10,000 units and no other budget I have made, then this is called as the fixed budgeting. मतलब आपने सिर्फ एक एक्टिविटी लेवल पे बजट बना दिया. अब क्या होगा अगर मेरी suppose if my production goes to 12,000 units, then how am I going to compare this? I do not have any standard. My budget is just for the 10,000 units, right? So this is called as the fixed budget. Whereas if I have made different budgets, different line of budgets for 9,000 units of production, for 10,000 units, for 11,000 units, as well as for 12,000 units. When I am making the budget, I do not know that what my actual production will be. That is why I have made a budget separately for each of the level of activity. This process is called as flexible budgeting, right? So what this process is called as? This is called as flexible budgeting. सही है? Now you guys will ask me, then ma'am difference क्या है? What is the difference in preparation of fixed budget and flexible budget? So my answer is none. There is no difference. The only difference is flexible budget is a series of fixed budget. So at 9,000 units, what are my variable cost and fixed cost? At 10,000 units of production, what are my fixed cost and variable cost? Similarly here and here. There is no difference of preparation among flexible budgeting and fixed budgeting. In fixed budgeting, I have just made one budget, and in flexible budgeting, I have made 4 to 5 budgets. Right? कि मेरा production कहीं पे भी आ जाए. Fine. Thank you so much. So I hope that every one of you must have understood the difference between flexible budgeting and fixed budgeting. This is why the correct answer is the different levels of activity. It might so happen that in your fixed budget you have taken an activity level of 10,000, and in your flexible budget you have taken activity level of 9,000, 8,000, 10,000, 11,000. So profits are differing. Correct. And why profits are differing? Because you have taken a different activity level for flexible budgeting and you have taken a different one for the fixed budgeting. Okay. Correct. Now moving on to the next question. Question number 16. बिल्कुल सिंपल आएंगे न्यूमेरिकल्स. आप बिल्कुल जैसे मैं यहाँ पे यूज कर रही हूँ ना, ऑल्दो व्हेन आई टेक कॉस्टिंग क्लासेस एट दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम. Yes, so answer has been provided. Although when I take the costing classes, what I do is that I do take sometimes tough numericals as well. So in that, I might use the calculator, but believe me, in the examination, they are going to ask you simple, easy numericals. Fine. Next, see the question number 16. When preparing a production budget, the quantity to be produced equals. They are asking you the quantity to be produced equals sales quantity plus opening inventory plus closing inventory. Sales quantity less opening inventory plus closing inventory. Opening inventory deducted. Both are deducted. This is added. Closing inventory deducted, and sales quantity plus closing inventory of finished goods. What is the correct option? Okay. What about others? Chalo, I'll give you the explanation over here and then we'll just see the options. Okay. See, suppose What are the three factors over here? Suppose I have decided that in the current year, I want to do the sales of 10,000 units. Correct? And by looking at the past circumstances, it is sure that in this particular case, I will be having a closing stock of 4,000 units. This is based on the, see, whenever you make budget, जब भी आप बजट बनाते हैं, budgets are made at the start of year. So how come I know that this will be my closing stock? This is not a actual closing stock. This is always a fair estimate that okay, by the year end this is going to be my closing stock. Fine, 4,000 units. Then opening stock तो आपको पता ही होगा. Opening stock is, let's say, 3,000 units. Now someone is asking me how much production I should do. Given all these three factors, if now someone is asking me how much production I should do, so can you tell me that what should be my production figure? कैलकुलेट करके बताइए जरा कितना होना चाहिए मेरा प्रोडक्शन. एनीवन? आंसर बताइए. 9K. ओके, अदर्स? It is 11,000. Why it is 11,000? I'll tell you. This is deducted and this is added. Why? See, listen the explanation very carefully. इतना आपको सेल करना है, this much you want to sell in the current year. Fine. इतना आपको जरूरत है. इसके अलावा ईयर एंड पे आपको इतना क्लोजिंग स्टॉक भी मेंटेन करना है. इसका मतलब इस साल मेरा प्रोडक्शन 14,000 यूनिट्स तो होना ही चाहिए. Correct? Because 10,000 units I have to sell and 4,000 units has to be maintained in my stock. That means total 14,000 production should be there. But someone has reminded me, किसी ने मुझे याद दिलाया कि आपके पास ऑलरेडी ओपनिंग स्टॉक पड़ा हुआ है 3,000 यूनिट्स का. तो मैंने कहा ठीक है, 14,000 यूनिट्स का प्रोडक्शन मुझे चाहिए, 3,000 यूनिट्स मेरे पास ऑलरेडी हैं, तो 14,000 minus 3,000, that means 11,000 units I have to produce more. Fine. Even if you are not satisfied in this, you can just see. Opening stock है आपके पास 3,000. This is you already have. More production you are going to do 11,000. Total 14,000 units will be there. Out of that, you will be able to sell 10,000 units, and as a result, at the year end, 4,000 closing stock will be there with you. Am I correct? ठीक है. Now we have done the reconciliation as well. So that means production budget का मतलब होता है sales plus closing stock less opening stock. Coming back to the question that we had, sales less opening inventory plus closing inventory. ठीक है. Next is, which of the following cost is relevant in decision making? अगर आप कोई डिसीजन ले रहे हैं तो इनमें से कौन सी कॉस्ट है जो आपके लिए रेलेवेंट रहेगी? नंबर 1 इज कमिटेड कॉस्ट, नंबर 2 अकाउंटिंग कॉस्ट, देन हिस्टोरिकल कॉस्ट, कैश कॉस्ट एंड संक कॉस्ट. Which kind of cost will be relevant for the decision making of yours? Which one of the following is the correct option over here? Which cost is relevant for you in the decision making? बाकी लोग क्या सोच रहे हैं? बाकी लोग कुछ नहीं सोच रहे हैं, बस हम देख रहे हैं. So see over here, the correct answer is committed cost. Why it is committed cost, I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason. So first let's look at the options that we have. Sunk cost, the amount of cost that you have already spent. Now it could not be brought back either. When I am telling you that decision has to be made, आपको एक decision लेना है आगे के लिए, ठीक है, in future. So the cost that you have incurred in the past, पहले आपने जो cost already incur कर दी, that is useless for me. That is, I do not have to do anything with that. Suppose I have to make a decision that whether I have to, I should produce this product or not. Number one thing, I should produce this product or not. This is the decision I have to take. So the building that I have taken on rent, that building related decision is just immaterial for me as of now. Why? Because I have already spent the amount onto it. That is a sunk cost for me. Ye cost to डूब gayi. This is not relevant for me. Now, cash costs, historical costs. Historical costs are what? Suppose I have purchased a building for 50 lakhs. करेक्ट. इस 50 लाख में से मैंने 40 लाख का फाइनेंस लिया और 10 लाख रुपए मैंने कैश में दिए. So cash cost means whatever cost you are incurring in the cash. Fine. So both of them I do not have any kind of relevance in my decision making. Why? Historical cost means आप कर चुके. This is the original price that you might have paid for any transaction. This is all are the things of past and this is not relevant for me. Accounting cost, I will say that this is a ambiguous point. Ambiguous point means हो भी सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता. लेकिन कई बार दो ऑप्शंस में से हमें वो ऑप्शन चूज करना होता है that is more relevant. Fine. Accounting cost is not relevant. Committed cost is relevant for decision making. Committed means आपने क्या commitment किया है. What commitments you have made. Suppose I am making a product. Fine. Now, in order to make such product, I have already tried to purchase a machinery. And for that machinery, I have said that after 1 month, I am going to give you 10 lakh rupees in advance to purchase that machinery. Now, I have committed that particular cost. No, that is not required, but just clear the concepts. By the time we'll reach the 50 questions, I'm thinking that it is going to help you. So committed cost means whatever the commitments you have made for future. Now you see, decision जो आप ले रहे हैं वो भी future के लिए है और जो cost आपने commit की है वो भी future के लिए है. So these costs are relevant for me in the decision making. Okay, and please do not worry, you do not have to, any one of you do not have to leave the costing related questions. I have tried to maintain the same level, but still the questions that is going to appear in your examination, ऐसे मत देख के मत छोड़ देना कि costing का question है तो नहीं करेंगे. Please देखिए और समझिए, and I believe that you might have come across such concept, then please answer that. Okay. अकाउंटिंग कॉस्ट का मतलब ये होता है, सपोज आपने जो है, जैसे मैं अकाउंटेंट हूं, फाइन. सो आपको एक पर्सनल एम्प्लॉय करना पड़ेगा जो आपके बिजनेस का सारा ट्रांजैक्शन अकाउंट फॉर करे. इन अदर वर्ड्स वी कैन ऑल्सो कॉल इट एज एन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कॉस्ट. दिस इज अ रूटीन कॉस्ट. फाइन. नाउ दैट इज व्हाट आई वाज टेलिंग यू कि हो सकता है इन सम डिसीजंस इट माइट बी रेलेवेंट, बट इन दिस पर्टिकुलर केस committed cost is more relevant for me because commitments are made for future and decisions are also taken for future. Accounting costs are your administration costs, the cost of your accountant, as well as the other expenses which are incurred like auditing related expenses. All such comes under the accounting related costs. Fine. Now next question, let's see this. In a factory, when production is increased within the relevant range, production आपका बढ़ गया है, only this you have to remember. Fine. Variable cost will vary on a per unit basis. Variable cost will vary in total. Fixed cost will vary in total, and fixed and variable cost will remain the same in total, or they will remain the same in per unit. What is the answer? What do you think is the correct option over here? What do you think is the correct option over here? Anyone? I'll tell you, see, the difference between variable cost and fixed cost is, I know that my direct labor charges me 10 rupees per unit. He says that मैं जितनी भी यूनिट बनाऊंगा हर यूनिट के लिए मैं 10 रुपए लूंगा. Fine. Whereas fixed cost, you can understand that this might be my building rent. I pay 50,000 rupees every month as my building rent. So this is my fixed cost, right? अब देखो अगर प्रोडक्शन बढ़ गया, पहले मेरा प्रोडक्शन था, अर्लियर माय प्रोडक्शन वाज 1000 यूनिट्स, सो डायरेक्ट लेबर को कितना देना पड़ रहा था? हाउ मच आई हैड टू पे टू डायरेक्ट लेबर? 1000 यूनिट्स मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 10. दैट मींस अर्लियर आई हैड टू पे टू डायरेक्ट लेबर 10,000 rupees, but now the production has increased to 2000 units. So 2000 units multiplied by 10 rupees, now I have to pay to the direct labor 20,000 rupees. You see, has variable cost changed on per unit basis? No. Direct labor is still charging me 10 rupees per unit. So per unit basis पे तो कोई change नहीं हुआ. Fine. Has variable cost changed in total? Yes. So direct labor earlier he was charging me 10,000 rupees in total, but now he is going to charge me 20,000 rupees. Yes. So variable cost has varied in total. Now next option was that fixed cost will vary in total. No, it will not. Production बढ़े कम हो, whether production is increasing, decreasing, doesn't matter. Fixed cost, that is my building rent, is going to remain the same. Whether I am producing 1000 units in that building or 2000 units in that building does not matter. Fine. Next options are fixed and variable cost stay the same in total. No. आधा सही है, आधा गलत है. Fixed cost तो yes, it is going to remain the same, but variable cost will not remain same. Next is fixed and variable cost stay the same in per unit. No, this is also half right, half wrong. Direct labor तो per unit it is going to remain the same, but as the production increases, fixed cost per unit, I am not saying in total, there is no change in total, but as your production increases, per unit fixed cost decreases. ठीक है? Is that fine? Now next question that we have, an easy question. So in two consecutive periods, the sales and profits were, sales कितनी थी? 1,60,000 and profit was 8,000 respectively. First period में, let's say this was first year. First year में your sales was 1,60,000 and your profit was 8,000. In the next year, sales was 1,80,000 and the profit was 14,000. Fine. So you have to tell, there was no change in the fixed cost. Now you have to tell what is PV ratio. Super easy question, super easy. Just a formula needs to be applied and the answer will be in front of you. Anyone? See, I'll tell you because we are not having enough time. PV ratio means क्या होता है? Contribution upon sales multiplied by 100. Fine. But in this question, it is not cannot be applied. In this question we have to apply a different formula of PV ratio, that is change in profit. अब ये मत बोलना कि मैम प्रॉफिट तो दिया हुआ है, दैट इज कंट्रीब्यूशन. नो, प्रॉफिट इज डिफरेंट, कंट्रीब्यूशन इज डिफरेंट. सो चेंज इन प्रॉफिट डिवाइडेड बाय चेंज इन सेल्स. प्रॉफिट में कितना चेंज है? Earlier the profit was 8,000 and then 14,000. That means 6,000. And sales में कितना change है? 180 and 60. That means 20,000. So 30% is the correct answer that we have. Yes, great. So hence, see, it's such a easy question, no need of calculator, you can just calculate on your hand. So with that, it's fine. That is why we are discussing these costing questions over here, so that you know the different concepts of costing. Fine, ठीक है. Now I have a question for you guys. You please find the answer. The question is that how many cost accounting standards have been issued till date? This is my question, that how many cost accounting standards have been issued till date. No, not a correct answer. That is why please go and search about it, and also search that which body is responsible for issuing these. Yes, cost accounting standards. With that, thank you so much for joining in this particular class. We will continue our series of MCQs, and as I have already told you, the intention is not just to discuss the MCQs but also discuss the concepts behind those MCQs. Okay, so if you like the class, then please do not forget to give us a thumbs up. Fine. Thank you so much for joining in.